Thanks so much. So what's your favorite Thanksgiving recipe? Well, we did some cooking yesterday, and today we're showcasing the delicious dish that's #1 on the list for 2 members of our 7 Action News team. Take a look. Well, it is a week before Thanksgiving now, and we've got a very special treat for you today. Erin Nicole and Hally Vogel with us to share the recipe of their favorite holiday dishes. We asked them both to bring one. Turns out it's the same thing, just a little different.
So we decided the 2 blonde Bobbsey twins, like the same thing.
Exactly. That's right. We're talking a sweet potato souffle and a sweet potato casserole, right? All right.
Yep.
Erin,
so,
let's start. What do you have?
Basically, we had pretty much the same recipe except for one ingredient, which I'll get to in just a second, as far as making that sweet potato souffle. I started off, what you'll want to do is get 4 large sweet potatoes and bake them in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour.
Okay.
So that's what you do, and Hallie will tell you about how to mix the sweet potatoes.
Right. And even baking, don't you think it turns better than boiling or microwaving?
I agree.
Yeah. I think that it kind of brings out the flavor.
You let them cool for about 20 minutes, and then real easy to just peel off that skin.
Okay.
Super easy. So these are just measured out roughly 3 cups.
Okay.
And then I mash them. I mash them with a potato masher.
Okay.
And then you can take a blender, just kind of smooth things out. And then, of course, what makes every dish really good.
Oh, yes.
Sugar. This is a lot of sugar, and I will admit, this is a cup of sugar. But you know, in the past, because of like dietary needs, I've done like half a cup of Splenda and half sugar.
That's smart.
Yeah, and you can divide it, brown sugar or white sugar, but regardless, it's roughly a cup. I mean, some people don't like it that sweet. This is almost like a dessert.
It's hard to see a whole
lot
cup
of
of
sweet
sugar
potato.
going into something.
I know. And
So don't look,
we'll
okay?
go like this and you sprinkle it so it doesn't, but yeah, it's a cup, and you can, it's very forgiving, let's say, this recipe. So if you don't want to put a full cup in, you really don't have to.
Okay.
So then, of course, the souffle part, kind of picking things up, would be the eggs.
Right.
So you want to put 2 eggs in there, and this is everything, I don't know, most people in their pantries have, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, plus everyone's going to be going shopping this weekend to get stuff for Thanksgiving anyway, so if you don't have it, buy them.
So you have the cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and then you melt a 3rd cup of butter. Of course, butter makes everything better too. We know that. And then with the milk, I always have whole milk at home, but if you don't, evaporated milk is a good option too.
Okay.
So you used whole milk?
I did.
That's what I use too, just because I just switched the baby to whole milk.
There you go.
I have that now.
We have that. So that's a half a cup of milk.
Okay.
And then just sort of to kind of solidify things a bit, you get that mixed up, and then you're going to add your flour.
Okay.
And that just sort of kind of adds to the texture, and that's a 1/4 cup.
That was the only thing that I did not have in my recipe was the flour. But as Hallie said, it's if you want that fuller texture.
Yeah, it does. It kind of bakes
up a little bit.
And then, of course, some vanilla, a tablespoon of vanilla.
Yum.
So
Okay.
it's quick, and you know the best part is you make this a couple days before. You know how rushed things are. You make this a couple days before. You can stick it in the refrigerator and just heat it up when you need it.
Okay, so now you've got some toppings, and
So
you do
now,
that. Well,
this is where our recipes differ a little bit. So here's my souffle already done and in the pan.
Okay.
And then what I like to do is put some marshmallows on it.
Love that.
And I
I
just
do
kind
that.
of
My mom
layer it
does that.
across. You know, the recipe calls for 2 cups, but you'll be able to tell when you have enough.
Okay.
So I put the marshmallows, and I like to kind of separate them because there's another topping that I put in between the marshmallows.
I see that.
So this goes first. My topping is cornflakes. You want a cup of cornflakes.
Okay.
1/4 cup of crushed pecans. And then a tablespoon of brown sugar. Put that in. And 2 tablespoons of melted butter.
Fabulous.
And then I'm going to mix this up.
You mix it up, and then you put it in the places that isn't covered yet.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Good. And we see your finished product over there, Erin, which is just beautiful if you bake it.
This is the finished product. If you can see that in a minute. But I should say also, because we're pressed for time, because this is television, normally I would do the cornflake topping first, put that in the oven, and let that bake a little longer.
Okay.
Because the marshmallows don't need to bake as long.
Yeah.
So you'll take that out and then put the marshmallows on top and let it bake for another 10 minutes. I'd say at about 350.
Good advice. And Hallie, your topping.
You know, mine's pretty similar too. It's just the brown sugar flour, the pecans, and then the melted butter. My daughter has a nut allergy. You can omit the pecans easily. You can even add some oatmeal if you want to do more like a cobbler type topping. So you put it in 30 minutes, 350. It's all done.
You guys are awesome. Love the recipes. I shared a cucumber salad recipe a couple years ago, my mom's recipe, so that's on our website as well. So head to WXYZ.com. You'll find this, and you ladies are great.
Oh, thank
You
you.
host your own cooking shows. All right. Enjoy, and happy Thanksgiving, or soon to be Thanksgiving.